Hello, everyone, and welcome to the iamher podcast, where I will be sharing some experiences that impacted my life in a negative way and also some things that impacted my life in a positive way. Now, with that being said, come on in the room, ladies and gentlemen, get comfortable so we can just go ahead and get into it. So, first things first. I'm not saying I had the worst childhood. It wasn't the best, but it was not the worst neither. I had some very good ups in my childhood and just, a little bit of bad. The bad was pretty much big enough to impact me in my adult life. So with that being said, I'm going to start with the very first relationship that I had that was filled with a lot of domestic violence. And it's kind of weird because I've never really opened up completely about all of this. So just bear with me. I'm going to try not to ramble. So this guy I was dealing with, I was in high school. I was very young, and back then everybody was like, yeah, I want to thug, this, and that. So I was kind of following the crowd then. I was dating this guy, I was thinking everything was cool. Thinking I was grown. I was far from grown. Let me tell you. So I'm thinking he's maybe 4 years older than me. Later on, I did come to find out that he wasn't that much older than me. So how it all got started is kind of a blur. But we were talking for a good little minute. And, I just thought if somebody was very controlling and didn't want to let you out of their sight, I thought that meant that they really loved you and that they wanted to be with you. And that stemmed from I want to say that maybe stemmed from just me listening to everybody else. Like, I don't think I really had to see a lot of that growing up. But I know, once the arguments came in, and then the fight started. I'm not going to say he just put his hands on me right off. It's like the little stuff that started off. He was like, you can't go here. You can't do this. You can't do that. I didn't tell you can do this. And I thought I had to listen. This is my boyfriend. What he says goes. All right. So I remember one night sneaking out of the house after my brother and sister had went to sleep, and no adult was home. I went over there. We had a argument about something that happened at school, maybe. He wasn't in school now. I was in school. I just really can't remember how the argument started, but I know I ended up trying to leave, and he tried to stop me from leaving and told me if I left, he would kill me. I just kind of waved it off. Didn't think it was like this big of a deal. He threatens me all the time. This is nothing. So I'm leaving, and the way I had to leave, I had to come around a corner, and he could have, where his house was, he could have met me on the other side going through a different street. And, to save my life, I was like, it's me or him. So I kind of ran his foot over. And that was that. Okay. I was like, I'm done. I'm never going back. That's it. But we all know how that story goes. I did end up going back. So I went back. Things were good. They were okay. I was like, all right. Okay, I like this. I can get used to this. And then when it just came time for me to just be like, you know what? This isn't really what I want. I want to do something with my life. I want to go somewhere. That's what I put in my head. So fast forwarding on, I was like, hey, I don't think we should talk anymore. I want to move on, and I think you should too. I'm pretty sure that's not exactly how that conversation went, but that's basically what I was saying. So me being young, and keep in mind, I think I may have just lost my virginity somewhere in there. So me being young, I'm hanging out with some cousins. We go to this thing that they normally have every year, and he's there. And I'm like, maybe I should go chill with him one last time, hang out, talk, all this good stuff. All right. That did end up happening. And then when I tried to leave, he wouldn't let me leave. He said I can only leave over his dead body. He started hitting me, choking me. He said he was going to kill me. He tried to throw me over porch rails, all of that. Like, chase me up and down the street. And I was scared for my life. I had never been in any type of altercation like this before. And it came down to the point where it was like, you either want to live or you want to die. Now, keep in mind, I didn't do anything drastic. His parents were there. But again, it's me versus them pretty much. You know, nobody's going to turn on their own child. I'm not expecting anybody to. So it's like me versus him. He's way bigger than me. I'm probably at least, maybe 120, 125 at the time. And he was maybe a good 190, 200. So, long story short, I was pretty beat up. I passed a few. He passed a couple. And it took his mom to just come in and intervene and finally just call the police. Okay? The police come. They get him. I go home, you know. And then, of course, I'm getting calls. Hey, don't press charges. Don't press charges. I'm young, of course. I said, no, I'm not going to press charges. I'm okay. You know, I'm fine. I just don't want to see him anymore. All right. It hits the newspaper. And this is also, I didn't hit this part, but my mom also told me I needed to leave this guy alone. Like, she told me, she was on me about it. And I lied to her and I was like, I did. It's okay. She found out. It was in the newspaper. I remember I was at dance practice. She walks in. And she has this look on her face like, I could kill you right now. And I'm looking at her because I'm just so excited to see her. And yeah, we just didn't connect on the same page. So, you know how it is. You get home, she takes cell phone, car, all that is gone till I learn my lesson. All right. Now, I use that relationship as an example to step into a few others. Now, not saying that all men are basically abusers. Women can be too. And not only was I being abused in some relationships, but I was also being the abuser because I became so aggressive after that relationship that I was just like, you know what? Nobody's going to disrespect me. Nobody's going to do this. Nobody's going to do that. And it's like, I didn't take into consideration, like, hey, maybe if you sit down and just talk to people, it'll be okay. You don't have to always resort to putting your hands on people. Now, not saying that guys putting their hands on me was okay. But I wasn't the best. I was not an angel in all of my relationships. Okay. And, you know, I remember riding in the car after the third relationship I had that was kind of, a little violent. Whenever we got into altercations, my mom was like, baby, you're going to have to break the cycle. And, I didn't really know or understand that at the time, because I was like, I'm just not going to let anybody walk over me. And I never looked at me being hot-headed and arrogant when I really was. I was just, they're not going to walk over me. They think because they're men, they can throw their weight around and blah, blah, this. And then it took me later on in this period of my life to look back and know that, she went through the same things. I remember things as a child that I haven't even opened up to her about, which I'm pretty sure she's going to hear about it now because I'm pretty sure she's going to watch this. I remember my dad coming home drunk and beating her. And I even remember one night, I'm not for sure what happened, but what I think I remember happened is, like him just choking her out. And it was almost like she was laying there lifeless. And he was praying to God to bring her back. Just bring her back. I'll never do it again. And I never realized that my mother had the strength to completely block all of that out and be done with that in her life until now. Well, I'm not going to say now. I realized it a while back. But just going back and reflecting over things like that. And it's like I picked some of the guys that I picked to be in relationships with based on what I was used to seeing as a child. So, with that being said, the cycle didn't just stop there. The last domestic violence relationship I was in, nobody really knows about it except for like close friends because they were there. And it really took a toll on me. Like, really took a toll on me. And it's like I started turning towards alcohol to kind of help fight those demons that I was trying to fight off, or that I thought I had got rid of. Because I was telling myself, I'm not going to be that girl. I'm not going to be that person that lets things that they have went through in their childhood or seen in their childhood take over their life. And slowly but surely it crept up on me, and I was abusing alcohol and in denial about it. Like, I was so far gone at this point. I want to say I was probably, I'm 29 now. So I was probably like, 24 going on 25. And it was not a day that went by that I did not have an alcoholic beverage. It was like, I was like, oh, I'm just doing this to relieve some stress. But all in all, when I get up, the stress was still there. I was going out a lot more, partying a lot more, spending money that I knew I did not have to spend like that. But I did it because it made me feel good, but only for a moment. Only for a moment. It just made me feel really, really good, only for a moment. And I finally broke that cycle. I put the alcohol down. I started getting a little bit more responsible. I started helping people out more. But it did not last long. And I don't want to tell too much on this first episode because I want to kind of stretch everything out. So I'm probably gonna make some of y'all mad because I'm gonna do this like a regular TV show and give y'all the ending that you do not want just to have you coming back for more, because this is where it's gonna get really, really deep. And I feel like I have to get this out and share it so that not only that I can help somebody, that may be going through these changes or these same situations, but also to kind of express myself so everyone can get a better understanding of why I think the way I think and why I do things the way that I do things. So thanks for tuning in. I will tune in next Thursday to finish this topic off before I move on to a next one. So I'll see you guys soon. Well, I'll be talking to you guys soon. Bye.